So what is going on? I hope everybody's having a great weekend. Now, I wanted to put together just a quick little update here, I guess as a follow-up to what a couple of posts that I made last week. Now, just as a quick recap in case you didn't see those. A week ago today, last Tuesday night, my mom had an accident. She fell down, broke her hip, and scooped her up, brought her to the hospital, and definitely a broken hip. Had surgery that following day, and we've been trying to kind of sort things through ever since. Now, she was moved from the hospital to a nursing home, or I should say, a rehabilitation center, so that she can get the physical therapy and more importantly, get the 24/7 supervision that she needs. Now, a little bit of a background history on my parents here. Now, they're both in their 80s. My dad will be 89 next month, and my mom is 85. Now, my dad, for the most part, physically, very good shape. He's still got his mind about him. He's got his wits. So in that respect, he's doing really, really well. His downfall, though, is that he's damn near blind. He's not 100% blind, but he's probably 90-95%. I mean, to the point where if you're more than 5 feet away from him, he can't make out who you are, even with his own kids. I mean, he can't see. So that's my dad's situation. Now, my mom, setting this incident from last week aside, she's got memory issues. I guess that's probably the most polite way to put it, if you just want to get right down to it. She's got Alzheimer's, and fairly far along on that spectrum. I'd say, on a 1 to 10, she's probably a 7, to the point where you're having that same conversation with her about every 3-4 minutes. So just kind of taking that into consideration when I'm going into and explaining the rest of this, as far as why this current situation is so dicey, I guess. So she's went from the hospital into the nursing home, and the whole time that she was in the hospital for those 3 nights, she didn't understand why she was there. My dad just kept on reiterating that you need to heal, you need to rest, you need to get some physical therapy. Well, after having explained this again probably 5-6 times in an hour, it just kind of dawned on me. I asked her point blank. I'm like, Mom, do you remember what happened? Do you know why you are here? I mean, because my dad was explaining what needs to happen, but she didn't really know what he was talking about. So I asked her, I'm like, do you remember what happened? And she stopped and thought about it, and she's like, well, no, I guess I don't. Oh, okay. Which, honestly for me, that was a little bit surprising. I would have thought something that traumatizing would have stuck. Evidently it didn't. So, I explained it to her. I was like, well, you fell, you broke your hip, and blah, blah, blah. And then for a minute, she's like, oh, well, I did? Yeah, you did. That's why you're in the hospital. Oh, well, maybe I shouldn't try and get up. Maybe I shouldn't. Maybe I just need to rest. Because, prior to this, she's saying, I can get up. I was walking up and down the hall all morning. I am perfectly fine. I'm ready to go home. So, so you explain this to her, and she's like, oh, well, maybe I shouldn't get up. Maybe I can't walk. Exactly. 5 minutes later, it's gone. So you repeat that whole process again. Now, where that's making this whole thing kind of stressful for everybody, because she doesn't realize that she's hurt. So when she's in the hospital or in the the rehabilitation center, she forgets that she's hurt, and she's on a spinal. She's got on a pain block, and on top of some pretty good drugs. So I'm sure she feels pretty comfortable, but. So the pain issue isn't really there, so she doesn't feel uncomfortable. So as far as she's concerned, she's fine. Well, the last thing we need is for her to try and try and be a maverick, not remembering that she's hurt, hop out of bed and do something a little bit more serious to her hip. I mean, something that potentially I don't know that it could be repairable. And she'd be limited to a wheelchair for the rest of her life. That's what that's like the main concern at everybody's forefront right now, at least, that's in the family here. So that's our big priority as far as trying to mitigate to make sure that nothing like that happens. So that's her side of things. Now, on my dad's side, again, because he has vision issues, he can't drive down there. I mean, or drive back. He can't go get groceries. He can't do anything. I mean, prior to her falling, they were like the blind leading the blind team. You know, she could drive, kind of, and you know, he basically had a reminder of the rules of the road and how to get back home. You know, he would ask, well, what street are we on? And he would tell her, okay, you got to turn here, turn there. So that, I mean, he was the navigator and she was the driver. Well, now that you know, she's no longer part of that tag team, you know, he's kind of stuck. You know, like I said, he can't drive, he can't get his groceries, he can't, you know, get medication, he can't get back and forth to the nursing home or rehabilitation center, nothing. So, you know, that kind of, unexpectedly kind of put, you know, quite a bit of need on my brother and I, because we're the only two people that are fairly local. I mean, my brother lives there in town, and I'm about 50 minutes from where my parents live. So, I mean, I can make the drive, and I have been making the drive, but it's not as easy as if they were just down the street. Doesn't matter, you know, doesn't matter. Happy to do that, but it kind of, again, like unexpectedly kind of put us in a bit of a situation where, you know, my dad wants to be down there pretty much every day, you know, in the morning and then again in the evening. So, you know, between my brother and I trying to coordinate, you know, well, who can drop him off, who can pick him up, you know, and we want to spend time with her as well. So it's just been a lot of commuting time. I think I've driven more this past week than I have in the past 3-4 months. So that's kind of created me a bit of an issue. But the saving grace is that this Saturday, my sister is coming up. She's flying in from Portland, Oregon, and she's going to be here for 3 weeks. Now, that's not going to be a fix, but it's going to give us, you know, 3 weeks to kind of come up with something a little bit better, you know, as far as managing this when she's gone, because she'll be here for 3 weeks. She'll fly back home for, I think, like only a week or so, and then she's coming back. You know, her husband travels a lot, and when he's gone for 2, 3, 4 weeks at a time. So she's like, well, what the hell? There's no point in me being here by myself. I'll, you know, come up and stay with mom and dad. So she's coming up on Saturday, which is going to be wonderful, but we still got to get, you know, it's only Tuesday now, so we still got to get, you know, throughout the rest of the week, and then pick her up from the airport and bring her in, and you know, and all that good stuff. So last week, as far as being able to have any time in the shop here, it was pretty much non-existent, and I don't see that this week, this current week, up until my sister gets here, is really going to be any different, because it's just, like I said, you know, it's family. You know, I'm not going to leave my dad stuck at the house, and I can't put all of this on my brother because he's got work, responsibilities as well. So we're trying to split this the best we can. We thought about the idea of maybe like we have a thing around here, so like it's called the BART bus, the Bay Area Rural Transport Company, or whatever, or a taxi or Uber, whatever you want to call it. The problem is, I mean, yes, they can get him from point A to point B, but once he gets to his destination, I mean, he needs to literally be escorted into wherever he's going. I mean, otherwise, because he can't see, you know, so he might, you know, take a wrong turn off the sidewalk, walk out in the middle of the street. He just, you know, I'm not aware of any services that we have around here. I'm sure if you get into a larger town or a larger city, there are, you know, things like that available. But around here, if there is, we're not aware of that yet. But that's something, you know, we'll certainly be having to look into, because we can't continue to do this for the next, who knows how long. Hopefully it's just going to be a month or 6 weeks, but, you know, we'll see. So in any event, like I said in the beginning here, I just wanted to give everybody just a quick little update, because I know that, you know, content coming out is going to be very slow, at least for the next week or so. So again, just giving a little bit of an explanation as to, you know, why this is happening. So this is why. And again, you know, I don't know. I don't know what to say. I got to keep this as a one-take wonder, because honestly, I need to head into town and pick up my dad. So I'm gonna get this uploaded and check out, and hopefully everybody here understands. Everybody that's commented so far has been very supportive and very helpful and very understanding. So I thank you for that. I really, really appreciate that. This is a temporary thing, and I know that a lot of people here they're my age or older, and they've gone through this similar situation with their own parents. So I think most people are able to understand kind of the situation. So again, just want to say thank you for your understanding, and I'll be posting updates as often as I can. Not necessarily about this, because I don't want to beat this down, but I will be trying to do what I can here in the shop. Just to try and keep some interesting stuff coming out. But it's going to revolve around what taking care of priority number one. So luckily though, I have been able to stay on top of emails and doing the consultations, because that's something I can do mobile. I can load up my laptop and I can do that anywhere. But as far as getting any progress done on shop, or on any progress on the project, that's something I need to physically be here for, and well, priorities are at the moment need to be directed someplace else. So again, hopefully everybody understands, and I will see you again very soon. Thanks.